Hello, and welcome back to Sharing a Chapter a Day. This is me, and today I will be reading Chapter 80 of Engagement in Peril by Dara, Odoe, Sok. Chapter 80 is titled Last Night in Arms and the Regrettable Goodbyes. Soon after, I got up to use the restroom where I urinated and washed my face and wiped down parts of my body that was sticky with my soaked face towel. Before returning to Ashley's side, I warmly soaked up one of my unused issue cotton towel so that I may clean Ashley's beautiful face and body from the cum-stained residue that clung onto her warm, healthy porcelain flesh, and I also got her a cold bottle of water from my miniature fridge. After shutting off the lights and exiting the bathroom, I looked in Ashley's direction. It was a sight for tired, sleepy, sore eyes. She was so radiant and enchantingly captivating. She still had an afterglow aura surrounding her. Her luscious bosom stood out while she laid on her back. Erect and plentiful they were. Her soft smile was soothing, and her goddess-like physique was tempting and inviting. Still exhausted and wasted, I was eagerly aroused once again by the very sight of that beautiful, beautiful angel who had visited me on my last night in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I dragged my overused, sexed-up body to her side, got onto the side on the bed beside her, and softly kissed her on the forehead. With her sleepy eyes slightly open, she warmly smiled, welcoming me back to her side. We kissed each other softly on the lips. I handed her the bottle of water which she hurriedly swallowed down a mouthful, almost finishing the whole bottle in one gulp, and she thanked me afterward. I then softly whispered that I would be wiping her down with a warm wet towel. She replied with a thank you and several more sweet kisses on the lip while we exchanged them. I began to softly wipe and clean her off then, starting at her head. Gently with my right hand buried inside the warm towel, I began with her sticky forehead. I moved the towel side to side. From there I moved down to her rosy cheeks and chin. With a few stolen kisses here and there, I continued to wipe and clean away at Ashley. I moved on to her nose and atop her closed eyes and then to her sweet cherry lips where we first kissed before it was cleansed. It was deliciously tasteful. She was so radiant then, so captivating, looking down at the angel that had visited me earlier to give me my going away gift of pleasurable joy and memories. I was in such awe. Following her face, I moved down to her neck where I sniffed and nibbled on one side while my free hand cleaned the other side. With no complaint, she continued to breathe slowly while moving her left hand fingers gently up and down against the bare of my back. After finishing her neck, I moved on to her steady shoulders and clavicles, and from there I moved to her arms. Softly and gently, I wiped them down one at a time. I held her hand in mine and held it toward my lips where I gently pressed several kisses upon her palms and hands. And once her arms and hands were wiped clean, I continued downward toward her firm abdomen. In a circular motion, I wiped and rubbed against her belly, kissing and cleansing it at the same time. She giggled with the kisses I gave her down there because she was sensitive and ticklish in those sweet areas. From there, I turned her on one side and wiped her entire back from neck to her buttock. Once at her ample buttock, I slightly nibbled into them while I wiped and rubbed on them. She gave a quick thrust forward and tightened her body from my sudden bite. I also wiped in between the cracks of her buttocks, where several blonde pubic hair bunched together from our previous sexual adventures. After having enough at and on her fine ass, I return her onto her back where her bountiful bosom await for their turn to be cleansed and played with. Before beginning work on her large, firm breasts, we kissed and mouthed each other several more times. Nakedly and gently I sat atop of her bare waist and proceeded to wipe away the stain that clung upon her bosom with the warm wet towel. With one hand squeezing at one breast for support, I wiped at the other boob. wrapping the warm towel around it as I went about cleaning it in a circular motion. She smiled as I squeezed and rubbed down on her bountiful breasts. After wiping down both luscious, natural, God-giving breasts, I began to kiss and nibble at her juicy jugs, getting her to squirm and moan for a short while. Like an infant, I worked on her plentiful bust for several more minutes with my mouth and hands until I felt it was time to move on and finish the rest of my task at hand of cleansing and cleaning sweet, sweet Ashley from head to toe. Once I had plenty from her bountiful chest, I moved down to the front of her hips and her freshly mowed lawn. I gently wiped back and forth on her hips, from side to side, making sure I cover her entirely, getting all parts of her warm, sensitive flesh. I then moved slowly atop her lawn. Her short pubic blonde hair swayed as I gently touched them with the warm towel, and from there I moved down to her battered, juicy, juicy muffin. I began by rubbing her sensitive clitoris, where she once again squirmed and tightened her body when being touched and rubbed down there. I then proceeded to clean her vaginal surrounding, slowly and gently moving my finger with the warm towel attached. With her legs partially spread, I rubbed about her vaginal lips. In and out of her I went about, gently ramming the warm, wet towel into her, not too deep. I was carefully aware, and while I was busy at cleaning her in and out, well, Ashley, she smiled and moaned as I went about my business at hand, inside her, overworked snatch. Once her inner orifice was cleansed, I went about to finish off the rest of her. I rubbed and wiped about on both her legs and feet. Between her toes, I wiped clean with the towel. Once all was done and cleansed, I threw the towel across the room onto an awaiting dresser and laid my worn body beside her. Side by side we laid in silence. Shoulder to shoulder, we held hands and softly whispered good night gesture to one another. Before falling asleep that wonderful night, I whispered these soft words to Ashley. We may only have tonight, but until the morning light, you are mine. Ashley smiled with one giggle and replied, you are mine too, sweet sinister Dara, as she giggled. We gave each other a sweet gentle good night kiss, and we both fell fast asleep a little after midnight, with her head resting against my right shoulder and her right arm across my chest, and with warm smiles, I happily slept blissfully next to my angel, the young woman that I had just made extremely wonderful love with. Ashley and I peacefully slept hand in hand and in a cozy embrace throughout the brisk night, accompanying each other in our wet wandering dreams. I didn't want this to end, but around 0600 that morning, my radio clock alarm went off and irritably buzzed us both awake. I swung my free arm to slap the snooze button and stayed with one hand held together. We slowly opened our eyes to find each other's face. We found each other face to face. I smiled at Ashley's beautiful face and said, good morning, beautiful. She smiled with a slight yawn, and teasingly she questioned, good morning, sailor. How was your rest? Good morning, my sweet angel. I slept well, miss. I slept well with someone that I really adore. And she's right here next to me. I returned her previous teasing while I kissed her softly on her lovely chapped lips that brisk morning in my bachelor's barracks dorm. We both giggled and smiled at each other. We leaned closer to each other and kissed softly on the lips. I asked her if she had to get to work and what time she had to be there. She said yes, and then around 0800 she replied about her work schedule. I honestly told her that I would dearly miss her, and when she leaves and thank her for her last night and all the time we had shared these past weeks together. She softly smiled and kissed me gently on my lips and said it was her pleasure and that she loved spending those time with me as well. We then got up, with our naked body exposed to the world through my bedroom's large window with the soft, cool morning sunlight glistening off our chest and abdomen. Standing there, lost in each other's stares, we smiled and hugged each other tightly for several more minutes. We then walked hand in hand toward the restroom. I gave her one of my unused toothbrushes so that we may brush our teeth and rinse our mouths together. Standing there facing the mirror with the toothbrush laced with Aquafresh toothpaste in our opposite hands, viewing each other through the mirror, we smiled. Her beautiful face gentle, soft, and warm, a sight for these mischievous, sore eyes as I thought while driving the toothbrush back and forth, up and down, against my teeth and gums. Her bountiful bosom hung firmly attached on her chest, round and ample, and smooth as a baby's bottom. I looked on, and was slowly aroused from the thought of them right next to me. While she brushed, she took short pauses, smiled, and winked at me as I, sometime lost in her beauty, forgot about the work at hand. Her bosom swayed back and forth and jiggled while she motioned her right arm as she brushed away the stains and germ in her mouth. After brushing our teeth and kissing each other several more times on the lips and face, I asked Ashley if she wanted to jump in the warm shower with me to clean off before going back to work. With a look of approval and accepting sincere smile, she quickly dragged me into the shower stall with her. Once in the shower, we kissed several more times before turning on the shower head. Her rosy, soft lips touched mine while her ample bosom stood atop my chest. And with my warm hand, I slowly rubbed and squeezed them gently, causing her to smile while she bites her lips. Our long kisses involved locking tongues and grinding teeth. Her sweet breath ingested mine while we deeply blew into each other's lungs. We then teamed up to turn on the shower head together. I held the control to the cold water knob while she had a hold of the hot water knob. Synchronized, we turned the water, and the flow of water began to rush against our rated bodies. The first burst of water set our bodies back a step or two because we weren't ready for that sudden chill attack. And once the cold and hot water mixed, the flowing warm water was cozy and relaxing. Ashley and I stood in each other's arms, hugging and clinging to one another as though we would never wanted this to end. I sure as hell didn't want this to end at all. If I could have held her forever, I would have, under that soothing water. While steam arose around us, the shower glass, sliding door, and bathroom mirror fogged up. We deeply kissed several more times while the stinging water struck us from above like a hailstorm. Our slobbering lips and mouths knew no limits. We sucked and sucked until we couldn't get enough of each other, our eyes covered in water where we barely saw one another's face from the drowning flow of warm water gushing down upon us from the shower head. Still in our imaginative thought, we knew we were there. Her beautiful soft bosom smoothly touched my chest as I held her tightly with both my burdened arms, and in return, she held me snugly under the warm, pleasuring, gushing flow of water. We continued to passionately kiss moments more. I bit into her shoulder while her finger jabbed into the back of my back. We stayed there under the flowing water, holding and prolonging the inevitable. We began to watch each other provocatively, teasing, touching, and scrubbing each other in places that only lovers dared to go. We lathered up each other with a freshly opened Irish Spring bar of soap, causing small, delicate bubbles to rise from our pores and orifices. We laughed and giggled while we touched each other in places that are too sensitive to touch. I soaked up in between her legs while softly caressing her delicate opening as she soaped up my protruding appendages and his round companions. We both giggled as we washed up. While on my knees cleansing her inside, I devoured and ate away at her warmly soaked oyster and battered muffin. Ashley returned the favor. While she was scrubbing and stroking me, she bobbed her head up and down upon my soapy shaft, arousing me to the point where I once again unloaded my devilish white minion into and down her throat. Pleasuring each other, we spent some more time in the shower, kissing, hugging, and love-making until both of our smooth young skin began to prune from absorbing too much water. Once done showering, we assisted each other in drying ourselves off entirely. With several large white towels, we rubbed each other's body dry until the surface of our skin was once again smooth and dry. By now it was about 07:15, and Ashley had to be at her unit command within the hour. With her hair still wet, Ashley hurriedly got back into her uniform clothes from last night, where I put on a pair of used blue jeans and my gray Dragon Ball sweater atop a black t-shirt. Once we were both dressed, we dashed out of my room and into my awaiting ready packed, cramped, cherry red Honda Civic. It took several tries to start my red Honda Chariot in this East Coast chilly cold weather, but we managed to start her up and hurriedly drove off to Ashley's dormitory across the base. I turned up the car heater and fan for Ashley's comfort while my vehicle was moving steadily over the base speed limit. Ashley continued trying to dry her hair with the towel that was wrapped around her head. And once we reached our destination, we dashed out and quickly stepped alongside her to the room. And I quickly stepped alongside her back to her room. Once in, she quickly undressed and jumped into her already iron-working greens, and where Julia waits, already dressed snugly in her warm marine outfit. Julia and I exchanged our hellos while we waited for Ashley to ready herself. We hugged for half a minute or so while Ashley got dressed beside the both of us, locked in arms. I told Julie where Ashley was last night and how we spent our last night together. Not to brag, not too much detail was told to Julie that morning, but my smiling mouth. But I'm sure that Ashley would eventually give her lovely roommate and the down, low, and minute-by-minute detail of what had happened with us last night. Also, I had told Julie I was leaving for good, never to return. Then that I miss her as well. And with a soft kiss, and then with a soft shock and awe, and her face softly frowning, Julie, she gave me a longer hug and several more soft kisses upon my face and on my biting lips. She also wished me luck on my next journey. I told her thanks for that and offered to drive her and Ashley to their unit down the road so that they won't be late for the morning roll call and mustering. As quickly as we got to Ashley and Julie's room, we were off once again to the unit down the road. All of us crammed into my packed vehicle, we drove onward. I, with no worry about my checkout time from the horrendous command, continued to make small talk to the two amazing and beautiful ladies while on my way to their unit. While we talked, Ashley did what she can to adjust her uniform, her buttons, and clothing to where it should be. Once we reached their destination, Ashley handed me the wet towel and that she had just used. We both smiled and then we all got out of my car. With all three of us at the driver's side, we quickly said our final and desperate farewells and goodbyes then and there. Julie and I hugged again, this time tighter and closer, appreciative of having met each other. We slowly kissed and mouthed each other heavily. Our last kiss then, and slowly we let go. Leaving Ashley behind, Julie went off to join her fellow Marines as they were mustering up for roll call. It was now Ashley and me standing there all alone. Face to face, we looked desperately into each other's eyes, locked and lost in the moment. It seemed that the world was made just for the two of us at that very moment. We didn't hear or we just simply ignored the activity going on around us. I took several steps toward Ashley. Our hands met halfway where we locked fingers and smiled endlessly. You know how I feel about you, Ashley. You have given me the time of my life these past many weeks. You're quite the loving angel for me during these weary times. I softly and desperately stated my thanks and sincerity for what she had done for me these past memorable weeks that we had shared together. Sincerely, with a warm smile, she nodded. I'll miss you, Dara. I wish things could have been different for you and us. I wish you could stay a while longer, and perhaps we may have something in the long run. But I love every minute with you all the same. Sweet, sweet, sinister Dara. Smilingly and sympathetically, Ashley gestured and commented her appreciation for me as well. I too will miss you, my beautiful, beautiful Ashley from Sunburst, Montana. I quickly, humbly replied. We then reached for each other and hugged our last long embrace. Our body held against each other tightly. I squeezed at her much harder than the squeeze I had gave her last night in my room during our lovemaking. I wanted so bad to take her with me, but knew it could never happen. With the same effort, she matched my strength and squeezed me firmly, pressing the air out of my lung as well. We gave each other our last sweet kiss. It was a long and passionate kiss, our lips closely locked. In thoughts, I saw fireworks going off in my head, and it seemed that I was taken to another place, a place of intrigue and adventures, and the night sky was glittering with ravishing flashes that sets the heaven on fire as we kiss our last kiss. But like I have previously stated, all good things must come to an end. While we were there in the moment, while we were there in the moment, lost in each other, we were rudely interrupted by Ashley's sergeant and platoon leader, who was screaming and demanding toward her to get in the damn line for morning roll call and mustering. "Ah, I have to go, Dara. I have to go, Dara," she disappointingly hurriedly stated, with a final soft kiss on the lips and a warm hug, and our last embrace of each other. Ashley and I parted ways. I stood there still with my arms stretched for her, motionless, watching her as she walked away to her platoon and walked out of my miserable life then. Once again, lonesome and with some joyous memory, I looked onward while Ashley walked away. I painfully uttered my last word at her. I screamed, "I'll never forget you. I'll never forget you, Ashley. And thanks for filling the void and emptiness that I had in me these past weeks. I'm gonna miss you, Ashley. I hope we both run to each other once again one day. Let's find each other when we both are old and gray." Those were my last words to a wonderful, beautiful woman that I had come to cherish, and adore more than anyone that I had ever met in my young life then. She giggly smiled and waved goodbye as she turned away toward her group. As fast as Ashley came into my life, she was now gone. I surely would miss this beautiful, wondrous young lady. While she positioned herself in line next to Julie, I got back into my car, took a deep long breath, and psyched myself up for what was to come for the rest of the day, and readied myself to check out of the Marine Command of Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. All alone once again, but grateful for having met Aline, Amanda, Ashley, and Julie. I drove back to my barrack, where I packed and stuffed the rest of my belongings into my car, shaved my early stubble face, and changed into my dress blue crackerjack uniform, so that I may check out this command in the proper military fashion and attire. I was leaving my last day in the military honorably, and I was ready for what was to come next. After getting dressed and prepared, and with a deep, relieving breath, I took one last look into my issued room and accommodations, and shut the door behind me for the last time. I then took my linen, pillows, and sheet to the quarterdeck and checked out of my dorm room's building. After the return items were checked and some forms were signed and approved, I was given the heave-ho, and off I left. Quickly after the barracks checkout, I then went to the personnel department to check out and sign my military obligation, and ended my services with the United States Navy. After getting all my paperwork in order and my enlistment has ended, I checked out of Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, by leaving through its front gate. After 3 years, 6 months, and 14 days of active duties and services rendered into the United States Navy, and proudly performing my duties and responsibilities with an honorable discharge, I was now a civilian once again. So I left this miserable situation and my angry state of mind, never looking back. Although I would deeply miss the few friends that I've made, especially the ladies that I've slept and built a relationship with these past several months, I am now on my way home. I know not what the future holds for me, but with the turbulence, trials, and the hardship that had happened to me these past months, I would become a better person. And with the memories that I have made these past years as a combat corpsman, I would cherish the memories of those I have come to love and have come to experience my time with. Goodbye and Godspeed. Fair winds and following seas to Tilly, Anne, Aline, Amanda, Ashley, and Julie. Thanks for the memory, my lovely angels. Years of the Cursed Dragon, 1976 to February 4th, 1999. Thank you for listening. This is the end of Chapter 80. Be on the lookout for Chapter 81. Titled Driving Away and Back to Reality. This is Do, Ra, me, and I'll see you later. Thank you.